So the Resident Evil series has introduced us to many B.O.Ws, ranging from the Tyrant in Resident Evil 1 to William Birkin and his Monsters G transformations. But moving all the way to Resident Evil 7, we're introduced to a less conventional B.O.W, where she has the appearance of a 10-year-old girl who was capable of causing so much havoc while at the same time being one of the creepier main antagonists that we face in the RE series. The B.O.W that I'm talking about is Evelyn.
Hello, sister.
Anyways, what is up you guys, this is DeVuH, and in this video we're going to be explaining who Evelyn was, how she came to be the main antagonist in Resident Evil 7, and how she could have potentially have been a very devastating B.O.W, where we also cover her overall influence on the Bakers, and how she uses them to do her bidding in her constant quest of adding more to her so-called family. Anyways, before we get started, please feel free to like and subscribe for more Resident Evil content, and also stay tuned to the end of the video to see if you're one of the commenters that I'll be shouting out for each of my uploads. Alright, so starting off, Evelyn was part of a line of experimental B.O.Ws created by the organization called the Connections, who was a crime syndicate who was also known to be involved with many illegal activities, who was also trying to create a B.O.W that not only can be effective of spreading its strain, but also not attracting any attention from enemy combatants, giving a chance to infiltrate behind enemy lines without the use of any large military presence, and turning enemies into allies with their mind control.
They're mine now.
What?
Anyways, on a quick note about her mind control abilities, it was stated in the file in RE7 that a working theory is that the vector is similar to an auto-inducer pheromones used for quorum sensing in Pseudomonas bacteria, which in layman's terms means that there's some type of cell-to-cell communication that's going on with the mold strain. Anyways, going back to her infiltrating behind enemy lines, so this led them to create Evelyn in a way that she had the appearance of a 10-year-old girl, which she was produced was by assimilating their mold superorganism into her genome during her embryonic stage for several weeks, allowing her to have an accelerated aging process and granting her the abilities that we see today. Anyways, the story in Resident Evil 7 would have Evelyn being transported to another secret facility, making sure that she's being kept safe from any other detractors, with Mia, the wife of the main protagonist of RE7, acting as a parental facade to Evelyn while they're being transported. But the story would have the liner decimated after Evelyn started to create havoc when the hurricane struck their way, being known to vomit large amounts of the mold strain in the ship, infecting many individuals on board. Also, Mia's partner, who is also acting as a parental facade to Evelyn, got infected with the mold strain, eventually succumbing to its effects.
Evelyn, stop! Stop right now!
Don't touch me, don't!
So in the end, the ship would crash near the Baker residence and would have the bodies of both Mia and Evelyn found by Jack and his family, starting the nightmare of RE7.
There's the boat that Mia came with Evelyn on.
What the? They came on that?
Which this leads to some of the story points that was shown in the DLC Daughters, as we had the Baker family take both Mia and Evelyn into their home, trying to care for both the stranded individuals, not knowing the dire consequences of their actions.
Oh, she's so young.
Yeah, how's our other guests?
Sleeping, poor thing.
Well, I say let them. We'll be okay here for a few days, at least while it's till we can get them into town.
Zoe, go get some fresh clothes from the laundry room, okay? Oh, looks like there's some sort of oil spill or something.
Yes.
Because it's not before long that once Evelyn was inside the Baker residence, we get this scene.
They're mine now.
What?
Giving a very creepy feel to this child, as she tries to take over the family, but the very first sign of infection was seen with Marguerite Baker.
Look at all the pretties my little girl is giving me!
So as we have Jack holding her back, we the players are relegated to playing as Zoe, the daughter of the Baker family. But not long after that, we see Jack Baker starting to act strange, trying to drown his wife and self-mutilating himself in front of Zoe.
Show her how to hold her. She wants us all to show her our love.
Daddy!
You don't want to disappoint her now, do you? We can't do that.
What are you talking about?
Now with both parents infected, showing some insane antics while trying to capture Zoe and adding her to Evelyn's so-called family. Also, depending on how we play, if we're captured by Jack, this happens.
Daddy! Stop it! Please!
She's waiting for you.
But once finally escaping, Zoe thinking that she's in the clear, she finds out about Mia's role in this debacle and is surprised to see Evelyn once again. Which this DLC plays as a prelude to RE7, explaining some aspects to Evelyn's infection and how she caused the Bakers to be insane, showing that she can control their minds to do her bidding, having the Bakers capture unsuspected victims and trying to add them to her family. Also, for those who are infected, they would start to have hallucinations of Evelyn, similar to someone who suffers from schizophrenia, with the gradual appearance of Evelyn haunting them constantly, until they reach a later stage of their infection, where they start to act upon those hallucinations and try to do harm to those unsuspecting victims.
Stop it, Evelyn!
Anyways, with as much upside to Evelyn and her powers, she's still not without fault, because her accelerated aging process would have her wheelchair bound and looking extremely old within just a couple of years, with the revelation of Evelyn's aging process finally shown in full view when we finally inject her with the E-necrotoxin by the end of the game. Also, it was mentioned by Lucas after he was released from Evelyn's control was that she acted her age as well, so it goes to show that the rapid aging process doesn't really develop the B.O.W's mental maturity as well, with a great example was shown by the end of the game when she states,
"Why does everyone hate me?"
When I first heard her say that, it made me question her rationale. I mean, it was only natural for anyone to go against her bidding, especially when it was forced upon them. So this goes to show that she's very disconnected to the regular human social dynamics, acting on her selfish childlike accord and hoarding as many people into her so-called family circle.
Damn you! Damn you all to hell!
With some files in Resident Evil 7 stating that her behavior may be contributed due to the B.O.W's instinctual nature of making a family unit, helping her blend into social groups, or it could be the lack of parental love due to her quarantined state. Anyways, moving on to the last portion of Evelyn's abilities. After she was injected with the E-necrotoxin, she would transform into this hideous mold being, with the most prominent feature is the large face that protrudes out from the wall, where she can consume our characters if we get too careless, or when she corners us. It was still surprising to see her be so potent even after being injected with the serum, showing how powerful and resilient she is, with the only way to finally dealing with her is only after she'd received so much damage and using an anti-B.O.W weapon.
Playtime, Joel.
So in the end, Evelyn would have potentially become a very potent B.O.W, especially with the way she can infiltrate behind enemy lines and make aggressors into allies, lessening the need for military and other bioorganic weaponry. I mean, just imagine if she was unleashed to an unsuspecting city population, and the chaos that would ensue due to her nature. She would truly unleash hell on earth, spreading the E-series mold strain in an unprecedented scale. So anyways, what do you guys think about Evelyn overall, and do you think she was a great B.O.W? Please let me know in the comment section down below. Also, I want to shout out a couple of viewers and commenters from my previous videos, starting with CJ. I really appreciate all your points and your comments, sharing your insight with the other RE fans out there, so thank you. Also with AJ, I really appreciate the constant support, and by the way, love the YouTube channel logo. And lastly, Darth Dead Ringer, I saw that you said that you liked every video. I really appreciate that, so here you go, brother. Thank you. Anyways, I'll continue to be doing this for the time being, and if you guys want me to cover other video topics, please feel free to let me know. Also, please don't forget to hit that notification bell icon so you guys can be updated with more Resident Evil content in the future. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching my Evelyn Explained video, and as always, you guys have a great rest of your day, and this is Hey DeVuH, signing out.